Starts now on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat.
Welcome to the show. It's 11 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. The 12th day of July, 2025. I'm pretty sure that if at all you keep journaling the entire year, you must be ticking some boxes. Welcome. My name is Wesige Banyaji. You must be achieving some and not being able to meet some. But we still have about, 6 months or 5 months. You can still call it a wrap in there. But I want to appreciate each and every one of you that is locked onto the radio to catch up with the Big Seat. We're riding together all the way up to 11 o'clock. And it's no exception this morning. We are talking about political party financing. Now, if you want to be a part of the conversation, drop us a line on our social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. You'll be able to call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. My name again is Wesige Banyaji, and I excited to host gentlemen. We are waiting for two of them, but the two are already with me in studio. I have Moses Omujugu. He will tell you his other third name, but he's an assistant resident district commissioner of Mbara District, Mbara City, Mbara District. But he also is telling us is the Assistant Dean of RDCs, First Deputy Dean of the RDCs. I have Council Deus Didit Bwenje. But before we get into our topic of discussion, let me give you a rewind of the week. And we know certainly there have been reports of violence in the joint NRM campaigns for the primaries, and the elections are slated to take place on about the 17th or something of July, and literally next week. So if at all you're not on having your last lap for the campaigns, if at all you're participating in the NRM primaries, you better get your team together and the task force doing the most to make sure that you're able to get that flag for the party. Because certainly, especially here in Western Uganda, if at all a candidate triumphs the NRM primaries, literally they have one leg in parliament or in the council, if at all you're standing for mayorship or in the districts. So this literally is not a small primary. It's primaries for mass parties. So the candidates are up and about to make sure they secure that victory. Now, the biggest and premier university in Uganda, Makerere University, issued clarification on its global ranking status, reaffirming its position as Uganda's leading institution for higher learning. And it created a kind of a buzz on social media on whether Makerere is now literally like a big secondary school because of the new restrictions on kind of policies that the Vice Chancellor, Barnabas Nawangwe, who is a very good education administrator, was able to come up with. I was last at Makerere in 2013, and when I went back just about recently, I was amazed by how the university has transformed, and I am one of the people that advocates for and roots for Professor Nawangwe. He's doing a fantastic job at the school of the College of Business and Management Sciences, where I studied economics. I didn't live there. The structures are there. We now have the Yusuf Lule, auditorium. And Makere is changed. He must be doing a fantastic job. Whether it's now bettering in research and all that to have it elevated in rankings, it's something that as a country we should be able to support Makere because it's one of our own. Now, the Democratic Front Party officially launched its nomination process for the aspirants seeking to represent the party in the various electoral processes nationwide. We saw that. And then the People's Front for Freedom held its inaugural delegates convention held along Katonga Road, where they unveiled new members, including Dr. Lulu Mevaiga. We know that he had participated in the elections for the Democratic Party as President General, but he didn't succeed. He lost to President Mao. And he was unveiled at the People's Front for Freedom, where Semujung Anda was literally appointed as interim Secretary General, and Elias Lukwago was appointed interim chairperson of the party. And the National Inter-Platform launched a fundraising campaign seeking support from members and well-wishers to donate money to the party as it mobilizes ahead of the 2026 general elections. And this is our topic of discussion. Is it sustainable that parties will be able to lobby and mobilize resources from the supporters? Or it should be as it was, where government uses taxpayers' money to fund some of these political activities within political parties. It's a conversation we're having this morning. Then President Museveni, as chairperson of the National Resistance Movement, chaired the iPod Summit at State Lodge in Nakasero, where the National Inter-Platform and the Forum for Democratic Change did not show up. Help me welcome Moses Omjungujugu. Welcome to the Big Set.
Thank you very much, Council Wesige.
Yes.
For this opportunity. Once again, for you giving me a platform to come and engage Ugandans. I want to greet you and my colleagues, especially also Council Gwenje, who has come late as always, and other technical people here. As you have rightly introduced me, my name is Moses Omjugujugu, and by God's grace, I am representing the president in Mbara district, and we are doing some good job there. And most importantly, this week, the president again appointed me the first deputy dean of the RDCs, and we are excited to receive that appointment, and we will serve and reserve a deal.
But there was news that your position was in doubt when you made callous comments on the daughter of the first son, Mohozi Kinerugaba. It literally landed you in problems. It's only that you know to speak Rugyakuri, but you're supposed to be the best bet.
People do not know that the NRM now brought total freedom for people. You can speak and do whatever you want, and you walk freely. I could have made those comments. Here I am with you. That's the Uganda we cherish, and that's the Uganda we have now, and the Uganda we must protect.
Yes.
Yeah. Moderator, I want also to send my greetings to all the listeners out there, but most importantly, to celebrate those people who could have gotten some success and registered some success. I want to join them to thank God for that.
Okay.
It's not easy to register success, especially when
those are opening remarks. Yes.
These are my opening remarks too. He has come late, and
extremely late.
Extremely late, and these are the people who want the government to do not allow such people like Bright. Then the other issue is I need also to console with our Ugandans who could have gotten some hiccups in their lives here and there. Those who could have lost their loved ones. Okay. Those who could have been involved in accidents. I want to console with you, and we pray that may the good Lord comfort you, and may you seek solace in some of the good memories you could have had with your loved ones. Okay. The other point I want to conclude with is to bring you the warmest greetings from President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the national chairman of the NRM.
Okay.
He's currently moving around. Today he's going to be in Ambole, concluding the tour of Wakiso district.
Is
And
President Museveni campaigning?
No,
Okay.
he's doing assessment of the PDM, and I want also to amplify his voice to you listeners. That is very important to understand that it is your sole responsibility to get out of poverty. Government, what it does is to enable you to put enablers. For example, putting roads, putting electricity everywhere, putting security. Then that sole responsibility is yours. Government's role is development.
Okay.
Then wealth is for you as a person.
Welcome,
make
Moses
sure
Omuzigbo.
we embrace that, and we can be able to build Uganda together. Thank you very much for having me.
That's the deputy assistant dean of the RDCs. Good morning, Council Bwenje. Those did it, and welcome to the big
Yes,
stage.
the pleasure is mine as always. I think most of us here have gone to campus, and the first lesson each of us learns in the course unit of communication skills is the purpose of communication, which is to, among others, educate, entertain, and inform. So I urge all of us who come here not to be entertainers, but to be informers and educators of our people. And so we should speak based on facts and, of course, opinions, but not hearsay. And so then on the other note, there's a video making rounds on social media about students of Acholi. I think they are girls, and they have composed a song about the herdsmen. And therein, they are saying, go away, you herdsmen, go away to where you came from. To me, it's a recipe for sectarian violence.
Okay.
It's not good for our country. Yes, the Bararo issue. And you see, the north and the northeastern, these are regions which have come from 20 years of war. So they still have the anger and they have the experience of war.
Okay.
And we do not have a repeat of a struggle between the Bararo and the Acholi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stop for a break. When we come back, Bright Mahomes, I'll be able to say hello to the listeners as we get into the topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We are back. It's 35 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. My name is Wesige Banyaji. With me in studio is Bright Muhomuza. He's a coordinator over the National Unity Platform in Western Uganda. I have Moses Omushugujugu. He's assistant RDC Mbara District. I have Bwenje Deusdedit. Is a lawyer. Our topic of discussion this morning is on political party financing. We know this week the National Unity Platform launched a campaign gearing on mobilizing members of that party and the public well-wishers to contribute money as they get to plan for the next election that is happening in 2026. But we know it's premised on a background that there was an amendment in the Political and Organizations Act, the Political Parties and Organizations Act, where now financing from government would require all these political parties that have representation in Parliament to be members of the IPOD. What that means, we know that the National Unity Platform has threatened to go to court and cancel that and find it very unconstitutional. But also the argument that IPOD is simply an NGO that political parties should not be able to be coerced into is something that we are going to be discussing this morning. Let me allow Bright to say hello and then we get into our topic. Good morning, Bright, and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, Mr. Banyaji. Good morning, listeners. I just have one point to make about political violence.
Please let him say.
I am saying people have made politics an issue of life and death. I largely agree with those who believe that politics can either bring food on your table or deny you food and you die. For many reasons, it can be an issue of life and death. But yes, even the president, the one Mr. Mujuguru calls the president of Uganda, and me too, Mr. General Yoweri Museveni, says politics is a matter of life and death. I also say it is a matter of life and death, but we give different reasons, which are completely different. Because my argument is that when you choose wrong leaders who may fail to deliver on your aspirations as a citizen, you may die.
Okay.
You may go to the hospital and find no medicine.
That touches a bit of what we intend to discuss.
And therefore,
yes,
it is a matter of life and death. But those who look at it as a matter of life and death because they want to achieve positions and use those positions to root, to steal from the public, and therefore they must kill, they must deal with anybody standing in their way. Those ones I condemn.
Okay. We know that certainly you launched a mobilizing campaign. How far has it gone? Have you made any contributions to that effect? How sustainable is the campaign to have Ugandans contribute to your cause? And if at all we know the law stays that it is, that you will not be able to get financing from government except when you commit to the IPOD, do you have a plan B?
Yes, we already have it, and we have already launched it. So, yes, last week we were in Kampala for the launch of our fundraising drive. I personally participated and contributed 5 million. Others contributed 10 million, 100,000, 5,000, 2,000, 1,000. The contributions are based on individuals' ability to give in. It is not a forced activity. It is out of your personal will. And therefore, nobody should say that the NUP is squeezing their leaders or members for money or material gains. Because a political party is like a religious denomination. Churches entirely depend on those who go to those churches. And therefore, a political party should also entirely depend on those who subscribe to its ideology. Some of us say we must deal with rampant corruption and many other challenges Uganda is facing. That needs organization. That organizational structure needs to be supported by money. You cannot do politics without money. You need travel. You need to buy airtime. You need to buy fuel. You need to buy food for the staff. You need some of our staff are paid salaries because we have technical teams which must receive salaries. We need to pay rent for these regional offices and district offices. There are many activities we must fund as a political party. Fortunately or unfortunately, we saying as NUP, we are lucky that our president, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, is a focused leader, is a person who foresees things before they happen. He's a foreteller, I can say, because now he saw this coming. He knew that the greatest challenge of NRM was corruption. And because it was corruption, he knew that if there is no money, you would give to NRM people and they use it to do political mobilization successfully to defeat us. That's why they use money, maybe stolen from government, maybe acquired through illicit means, but that money never becomes enough for NRM. They again use UPDF, you see police, and other people, militia groups, trying to intimidate voters. So we were saying, for NRM, money can never be enough. And where NRM...
There's something I don't understand from him. He says that political parties, just like churches, must be entirely dependent on the people. So is that an admission that they do not, as NUP, they do not suffer any injustice as a result of not not having a share in the money which comes from the government of the Republic of Uganda?
That's a good point, Mr. Roya. Now you have asked a very mature question. First of all, the money we are receiving from government of Uganda
about
is
3
money.
point something
Do you need
billion.
it or you don't
see,
need
it
it?
is money that the government of Uganda gets from the public, gets from me and you. It is taxpayers' money. So if there is a share from me and you, Mr. Banyaji, to go to a political party, it means a political party depends that time when to receive the money on the people of Uganda. We're saying, and you see, what was the motivation? Why did they bring in that law? It was not there before. Because political parties were going in other countries to solicit for funding and money. So that law was brought in to curb down people who want to go and say Germany has given us billions of money to fund our political activities. So the government, President Museveni and his people, they said the government will start funding those political parties which have representation at parliamentary level.
In fact, now
Which I never agreed with it.
So now,
because you see, there are many political
law,
parties which are very active, and unfortunately they have not had an opportunity to have a representation at parliamentary level. They never share that money.
The question is, does NUP need that money or it does not?
I think that
that one is answered, but now you see there is evil money and the money which is okay. For us, we think this money which is conditioned, which money which is conditioned that we must sit with President Museveni. We saying, and you see, for the iPod, for all the time iPod has been there. I don't see any one single achievement. You can mention it to Mr. Bwenje because I know you do some small research. So if you know iPod has been able to achieve anything, for me, I think for the time it has been there, apart from sitting with General Yoweri Museveni, they share tea, they shake hands, they use it as a platform to woo or to mobilize those who are opposed to government to join the government, because those that have been in the iPod have ended up in the government.
Okay, thank
you.
you.
So for me, I don't see any good thing in the iPod. And if it is that when we don't participate in iPod meetings, we lose the money, I put my hand, I say, yes, I stand by that. We lose the money. If they are saying that we must sit with the president, with Yoweri Museveni, for us to be able to get that money, I put my hand, I say it is a right decision for my party leaders to decide that we don't, even if we are to lose the money, we lose it. After all, you know, if you can remember, iPod was not only receiving money from government, it was receiving money from government of Netherlands. Netherlands, as I speak now, they have withdrawn that support. Do you know that? So basically, iPod is sponsored by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Thank you, Bright. So let me go to Moses here. Moses, we know that law should not target a particular group of people. Law should be blind, should be neutral, you know. But now we know that when the NUP and the FDC abstained from the activities of the iPod because they did not find it useful to engage with the ruling government under the iPod, since there is a national consultative forum that is a platform that brings together all these different political parties to have dialogue. What the NRM did was to draft law and amend the Political Parties and Organizations Act to put a restriction on the financing of political parties. We know that they were getting money based on their numerical strength in Parliament. This was shortchanged in an amendment. Was this appropriate, Moses?
Thank you very much, Councillor Banyaji. One, you bring a very good topic, which is very timely, about political financing in Uganda. I agree with you. This is a very critical topic, because what is happening outside there is regrettable. Where I have condemned it on several occasions, where leaders bribe voters to be voted. This is the point of political commercialization. Can you imagine, Banyaji, that you want to send me to parliament or to council to represent you, but you who is sending me, you want me to give you salt, to give you a bar of soap, to give you some money, to give you kombucha, then you send me to parliament. Do you think I will really do representation? Do you think I will do what you want me to do for you in parliament? Actually, no. Because this money I have given you, I must now go to look for that money that I have given you. So I desist the idea of commercialization of politics of Uganda. But first things first, what is this money for political parties? Because before we look at the funding, why do we need the funds as political parties? Then after that, we can now see how do we get the funds. One, political parties are supposed to get money to help them in a representation and articulation of the interests of the wananchi. Now the biggest question on this is, has, for example, NUP been using that money, because it has been getting 3.1 billion shillings from Ugandans, from taxpayers, from the NRM government. NUP has been getting 3.1 billion Ugandan shillings. Has this money been using to serve the interests of the people? And in my answer will be in a negative. And I am coming.
Let him
I am coming. That's a very big point. It is supposed to have money to do representation and attraction of the common man's interests. In my view, which is in a negative, that the NUP has not been doing. I am coming to answer that question why. The other point why they need financing is for purposes of political socialization and education, to do political, educate people. You know, in 2005, we took a decision to every Uganda to be involved into a political party, to get a political party where to belong. So that money should be used in form of socialization. You have brought people together. You have brought Ugandans together. Of course, there are costs involved. You bring them together, progressing together. So that money should be helping them in socialization, but also to educate them about the politics and the rights of the country. The other point why political parties would need money is to do recruitment and nomination of candidates. Political parties need to recruit followers, need to recruit members, and recruitment, you have to move around, have music systems, do campaigns, have media, go do programs. All this require funding, and at the end of the day, a party president or a party chairman may not have the money to sustain the political party. Therefore, there is need for money to do this work. But has been this money been doing this work in the political parties, especially NUP that is in the spotlight? My answer will be no. The other issue why political parties need money is an issue to do with policy formulation and integration. They need to do policies. These policies, you need to do consultations from your party members who we assume, unlike for NUP that is major in central Uganda, whom we assume that they are all over the country. You need to reach out to them and get their views. But unfortunately, for NUP, it is a regional political party. But they will be getting this money to do that and make sure they do it right. The other issue I want to conclude with, the other point, I think, why political parties need money before I now discuss the financing, is to do mobilization and helping citizens to be part of the electoral process and other political activities. You need to do serious mobilization to engage people, bring them on board, and then you can be able to move together towards your desired goal.
Now, would it be right that government, having recognized that political parties need resources,
yes,
should they condition
I am
these resources?
Because
eventually these political parties are run by Ugandans.
Now, let me tell you.
And Ugandans are the taxpayers.
That's
why would you condition these resources that are coming from government?
I was still laying background.
Even besides the conditioning, having known that political parties need money for purpose A, B, and C, must they get the money from government?
So
can't they fundraise as the NUP is doing?
Now give me an opportunity to answer all those questions. One, I have laid a background of the need, the why question.
Yes.
Now I want to answer the question of the what. We need the money. What now? Now government was saying, we have needs, we have seen there is need for you to have money. Now that we are going to have money, let's have a platform called iPod. And in that iPod, we shall always sit there and we share money for political parties to go and
Moses, do you recognize that
about.
iPod is not as an agent of the state?
What has annoyed me with the submission of my brother Bright
first before we go any further, do we all agree that iPod is not an agency of government? That this is an NGO, this is an institute from the Dutch government? It
is a platform which, you see, government is something amorphous, it's something big. Even NGOs, they help in government in doing some work. That's why they get state facilitation. That's why they get all this support, because we know at the end of the day they want a better Uganda, and we will try to give them that support. Therefore, iPod, whether it is from the Dutch government, whether it is an NGO, as government, we saw it as a very good idea, and we said we shall support it. Now that we are going to support it, let's formalize it. Let's have members of parliament, political parties who have members in parliament, according to their numerical strengths. Then we share this money. But before that, you ask me, yes, you raised a point of that you have never had any achievements of iPod. I felt so bad. I felt so annoyed because of civility. I couldn't box him. But if we were somewhere, I would have boxed him. One, he's aware that iPod fosters inter-party cooperation. And you don't know the advantages of cooperation. Muhumuza Bright,
I have an
a
issue
new
with him.
coordinator of Western Uganda.
See,
Okay,
You are
let's
saying
pick this
you do not
information.
know the purpose of political party corporation.
Let's pick
One,
this information.
In Adam government.
Moses,
and very unfortunate of you.
Moses, let's
You
speak.
see,
please.
it is ironical and paradoxical that the same NRM government, which thinks NUP is funded by foreigners, is the same government forcing MPs of Uganda to be members of a foreign organization, IPOD. Why?
Political parties, you mean? Not,
Yes, of course.
yes.
Why? Why should Ugandan political parties be compelled to become members of a foreign organization?
We are not comparing you. That's what you must know.
No, it is.
But it should be, we are not comparing, but we are saying, let's come together. Why? And I want to answer your question.
No,
Only that you are
there is
not
a
giving
sign.
an opportunity.
No, you see,
And you are not
why I'm
listening.
saying that they are comparing them, because there are consequences of not being party to that confusion. So if you are not party to the iPod, there are
Council will.
consequences,
No,
and
listen
they are,
to the
I have
information.
listened.
and the consequences are that you do not partake in the money which comes from the government of Uganda. So to the effect that there are consequences, it means it is compulsion. It is not voluntary.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you, the Banyankole have a saying, "Kotari mwenje njo mbenye njo banoenda yuchi," which literally means, if you're not part of this group, why do you go to them?
Which one?
What
But that proverb now becomes a contradiction.
No,
Yeah.
you first listen.
Because what you're saying,
But you first listen. You first listen to the point. I first deliver it home, and then you can. The problem with the Wenje, he wants to argue before listening,
No.
and that's not good.
No,
That's
I've
not
posed
good.
the
You
question.
first listen, then you can argue. You can.
I've been listening to
I
you
was
for
telling- I
a
was
quarter of
telling
an hour.
Bright- I was telling Honorable Brighty some of the achievements of iPod, and one of the achievements I was telling him, interparty cooperation. The other issue is about
First, I want you to tell me
yes.
where the cooperation of political parties has helped Ugandans.
Now,
How has it helped Ugandans?
you listen now. Let me tell you how
Because
it
our boys are in prison.
how
Our boys are in prison.
how it has helped you. Listen to this. You can give me an
Abductions are
opportunity.
still ongoing.
Not
You
abduction,
tell me-
they are arrests, not abductions.
There are abductions
Don't
and
change
arrests.
words.
I know.
Don't change words.
I know the difference. I know the difference between
don't
arrests.
know.
can we move away
okay.
from the argument of whether the abductions or arrests? The topic this morning is,
Political finance.
does it make sense for government to compel political parties to be a part of a foreign institution?
Do you know why? Because the government is going to give you money, whether you don't or you don't want to be part. At the end of the day, government will have to account for this money from the wananchi. So
Okay.
when you want to be outside there and you don't want to be here to be, to be seen doing things and to be followed, then we have issues.
Oh,
The other
okay.
issue-
No.
before you go to him-
You've had enough of time. No.
I just want
Moses,
to make 2 points.
hold it there. Hold it.
Just
Oh,
two
no.
points.
Moses,
Just 2 points.
hold it there. Yes.
And actually, I'm shocked that he said that NUP has not accounted for the money it got from the government.
And yet it accounts
And
to the
I want him
Electoral
to specify those areas where NUP has not given us accountability. How do you know that NUP has not accounted for it?
Yes. Now,
I've given him my time.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
You see, at the end of the day, when you receive money from government, you ought to do accountability. I have heard one of the reasons why Mpuga moved away. He says there are the issues of accountability within NUP. That's why these people have moved away. Do you need more evidence of that? People have
Moses
a vice president of a political party. He's saying we have issues of accountability. People do not want to account. There is a cult here. There's a person who doesn't want to be questioned. We must deal with him. We are moving away.
So,
Is
are there no issues of accountability in the NRM? Are they not there?
Did Mpuga move away or he was forced to? He was chased away. Did he voluntarily go away?
He moved away.
He was dismissed with disgrace.
No.
So nobody can say because Mpuga
He was
didn't
revealed
remove.
Can one person speak at a time?
The point is, he's lying. The point is, he was told to step down on party president of Central Region.
So why hadn't he resigned?
And
Why hadn't he
And
resigned?
they also told him to step down as a commissioner of parliament. representing the opposition on that committee that administers parliament. The man refused to resign in the parliament. And then they relieved him of the duties as a vice president of NUP. And all this, the genesis is accountability, political parties accountability. The man was raising hard
but the man stole money
to
from
the party president.
Okay.
That why don't you want to account? They said for us here we don't account, and it was chased.
Okay.
So I think time and time again here I've stated that a political party just like a church, it should not be funded by the government. If it does not have the appeal of the people to contribute for its activities, then it should wind up.
Okay. Now, now maybe it's also important
yes.
to recognize that these political parties are public institutions.
Exactly, just like churches.
Of which government has
just
a
like
very
churches.
strong interest.
Yes.
All right? And we know these political parties may not necessarily mobilize the resources that they need to carry out the activities. If you're going to allow political parties obtain resources from wherever, you're going to have a situation where these same political parties obtain resources from enemy states. All right?
Yes.
And that money is used to destabilize the country. And you're saying these are public institutions like churches that don't necessarily have to get money from government. What will happen if NUP is denied resources but is able to get money from a country?
That's just an excuse, because does getting money from government stop NUP from getting money from the ADF? No. Actually, it gets okay, I mean, my issue is that if indeed you are a people-powered organization or institution, in the same way as a church, a mosque, why shouldn't the people of Uganda support you, and then you have to run to government? So, and my issue is that even then the NRM, it should be able to hold the fundraising and leave the taxpayers' money alone. If people want to support you as a party, they should come and support you. But it should not be an excuse that if government doesn't give them money, then they're going to run to Saudi Arabia, to Israel, to the US and so forth. No.
But maybe something that I need to put to you is that, are you aware that the feasibility of these political organizations to finance their activities majorly by mobilizing resources from their members and well-wishers may not be sustainable eventually?
No.
As a matter of fact,
after
all, there's even a limitation on how much they are supposed to obtain as
argument is against the weight of the evidence. The Catholic Church, the Anglican Church are not supported by the government of the Republic of Uganda. They are entirely supported by the people who believe in the principles of the faith. Okay, so but up to now, the Catholic Church is still there. The Anglican Church is still there. So you don't need the support of government to succeed or to be sustainable as a religious institution or even a political institution. If you do not appeal to the masses, then you have no business in Uganda. Okay? So you have to try all means possible to look for those incomes. If you cannot get them, it means the people are not on your side.
I have a question for
Yes.
him.
Yes.
And I wanted you to answer it together with my Muhammad Zabraik.
Yes.
You are saying NUP should reject money from government, but NUP should go out and squeeze the wananchi money from
Not
them.
squeezing. No.
What
No.
Let me tell
No,
you,
squeezing.
any person who does not contribute to this drive will not get a flag of NUP.
No.
And is a candidate.
No one has said that. No one has
This is
said
the
that.
reality.
No.
This is the reality, my brother.
If you attended that
He's
event
here,
or
but Bryce
if you
is
saw
here.
it,
Tell
Okay,
us,
okay.
why don't you want to,
maybe
you are
the-
saying we
the-
don't want money from government, we want money from the Wananchi. Money from the government is from who? Is from the Wananchi.
yes.
Why do you want to milk our citizen like to that level? Why?
So you have a problem that
But
and-
Museveni was live.
Wait.
Yes.
You have a problem with the NUP carrying out a drive to mobilize resources from its members and well wishers.
Squeezing, pestering, Wananchi. Out to get money out.
Excuse
of
me
them.
here.
Okay.
You see,
Squeezing.
no.
Do you know the meaning of
In
squeezing?
COVID, in
Any
COVID,
person who does not contribute
in COVID.
will not get a Muhammad Isaiah says he gave 5 million.
Yes.
Do you think he did it willingly?
Okay,
You
let's
see how sad
link
he
up in
is.
the
See
second
how
hour of
sad
the
he
show.
is.
We are joined by Moses Nwagava, who is a lawyer. Let's catch up in the second hour of the show. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, it's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, good friends. My name is Wesige Banyaji. The Big Seat happens every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11. We sit and talk about matters that affect every Ugandan across the country. It's not exceptional this morning. We are talking about political party financing. We know that Parliament amended the law on political parties. It meant it's only waiting for a setting of the president, which even the president
Yes, assented
to the bill.
The amended bill.
Yes. This means that political parties with representations in parliament are entitled to resources from government. But now it only means that you must be an active and committed member of the IPOD to be able to access this money. The NUP was getting about 1.7 billion per quarter. That's about 3.1 billion shillings annually. And the biggest, the lion's share was going to the NRM with about 17 billion, about that. But we know that the NRM definitely uses way much more. And that's something that we can also interrogate. Where do they get this money for the campaigns? The campaigns are on. The NRM primaries are happening on the 17th of this month, which is literally on Thursday. The NUP is on a drive to mobilize members and well-wishers to donate to the party. And that is something that we are talking about. Moses Nwagava, Bright Muhomuza, Deus Didit Bwenje, and Omushugujugu Moses are with me in studio. Moses, let me get to you. You found us talking about political party financing and how sustainable is it that members of these political organizations can mobilize the general public to donate to them so that they can be able to carry out the activities. What does this mean, especially with the amendment where you said?
I am a veteran of political party engagements. I now belong to NRM, Konkeje Nabramisho. Is not the one which is sleeping. I'm in NRM which is awake.
The revamped one.
The revamped one. The one which is awake.
The reformed one.
Yes. Now,
who is your leader of the reformed NRM? Ababa Babas.
We shall disclose. At the right time, we shall disclose.
Please.
Now, Obote was a very wise man, but people don't know that. Or they know, and they pretend not to know, or they pretend to have forgotten. But for young people, there was a man in Uganda called Obote, was a president of Uganda twice over. He discouraged his party members from seeking elective offices under the NRM administration if they were serious about opposing NRM. There was that conflict. There was a conflict in UPC when Obote and Cecilia Ogwar and Dr. James Rwanyarare and others disagreed on the strategy, and the Reto Rangaranga disagreed on the strategy. But they said, if you want this NRM government to collapse, boycott. They said, how can we boycott? For you are speaking from the comfort of Zambia. You are in Lusaka enjoying sausages. For us, we are here struggling. We must participate in order to dislodge the NRM regime. Now, have they dislodged it?
No.
Have they participated?
Yes.
Have they dislodged it?
No.
No. Now, this is for NUP. National Unity Platform. The National Unity Platform, if they are serious about dislodging the National Justice Movement, they should stop eating around from the veg. They should stop taking Museveni's money. This political party financing is NRM money. NRM money, not because
this is money that
it
is
has been
statutory.
fundraised by the NRM political organization.
This is statutory money.
It is statutory, but it's NRM money. The moment you feed on it, it is infectious. You don't remain the same. All those who have fed on that money have not remained the same. You can see Norbert Mao. He is 95% yellow, 5% green.
Moses, supporters of the NUP and the general public have time and again been told Museveni gives NUP money. And this seems to be very bad propaganda, especially by the leaders within that party. They have called it very chorus of people like you who are castigating it for receiving money from government. Yet this is not Museveni money. This is money from the consolidated fund.
If we were in Europe, if Uganda was Norway or Sweden or Britain, the Great Britain or Germany, what we are discussing in this studio would suffice. Because that's the trend of doing things, that a political party in government will always allow, legislate and allow political parties in opposition to receive money for purposes of growing them democratically, supporting them to grow democratically. That is the standard. When you benchmark internationally, conventionally, that's the standard. But the government of the National Justice Movement, when it was legislating to have this money put in the laws of Uganda, the intention of the money was never to grow political parties. It was to recruit, infiltrate opposition, to be used to infiltrate. It was an official way of recruiting people, infiltrating the political opposition in Uganda, and finally frustrating the political opposition, in fact killing it. So this money is poison to NUP. I don't know why NUP is discussing why the poison is small or it has delayed. Whether poison should be brought, guys are very busy discussing whether poison should be brought to them and in what amounts and when. Why is the poison delaying? The 3.1 billion, is it to NUP alone?
Yes.
The 3.1 billion, ever since it started coming to NUP, what has it done? It has facilitated division. That's how these guys moved out. Who? Leader of opposition, Mpuga. IPOD, I sat in meetings of IPOD. At some point I sat in meetings of IPOD. I know what takes place in IPOD. IPOD is a conglomeration of political groups in Uganda which have representation in parliament. If you don't have representation in parliament, you cannot be in IPOD. That's why you see the funding is attached to what?
To membership in parliament.
To IPOD.
To IPOD.
Because there is a condition that to be a member of Interparty Organization for Dialogue, you must be having
Members of parliament.
a member or members of parliament. You must have representation in parliament. But whenever that money came, plus now this Netherlands Institute for
Electoral
Research
Democracy, yes.
and Democracy something, okay, plus IRI, the International
The
Republican
Republican
Institute,
Institute.
of the former president of United States, Jimmy Carter. When that group, the NIMD, plus the IRI, plus the IPOD, the conversations there are very good for European democracy. But if you are a Ugandan seeking political change and accepting IPOD money and believing that you are going to use that IPOD money against the government of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, you are swimming in self-deceit. Because the way that money is given out, the signatures, of course, Secretary Generals would be the signatories, but you get even approvals of junior officers in your party. If the junior officers who are allied to the National Resistance Movement, without the knowledge of the Secretary General, if they say, hold on, there is an activity which is going to undermine government and the NRM. For now, hold on the funding. You are the Secretary General, you look for the paper where to place your signature, and you will not find it. You will not get the money until you are approved by junior officers in your own political organization, by the way. So, this money element, the discussion on obtaining funding from government as a political party in opposition, is a discussion in futility.
Okay.
The one who is waiting for this money that is going to help the political party to democratize, it is actually going to help them to disintegrate. The best way, what NUP has initiated, or the idea of fundraising from its membership, that is the beginning of democratization in a political party. Why? Because in political parties, people are supposed to own the party. The members are supposed to own their political party. The moment they don't do that, you see, one of the first political parties in Uganda, in fact, the first, permit me to say this,
Yes.
because I want to speak with an example. ANC, the African National Congress of Ignatius Msazi. Ignatius Msazi went to London and studied theology. He wanted to preach in London after school. They said the black man cannot preach here. He said, but I'm a black man, I can't preach in London. But I left a white man ruling in where? And preaching in
Africa,
Uganda.
In Uganda.
So he boards the nearest plane, lands in Nairobi, and comes by train. When he reached in Uganda, a meeting is held of farmers. I want to show you political party financing in Uganda. It's not a new thing. A meeting is held of a Uganda Farmers Federation. Okay? Led by one of the leaders was called Mugwisa. They organized a farmers meeting, a national convention for farmers, where Ignatius Msazi addressed them and put his personal experiences in London, refusal to preach, and now who is leading Uganda. And now the Farmers Federation, they take a resolution to form a political party, to engineer, in order to assist, to help their produce, the sale of their produce, to engage in commerce. So these farmers who formed a political party had an interest, okay, in trading, in selling their produce.
Yes.
But at the same time, they were the first funders, okay, of the Africa National Congress. Now, when I juxtapose, I want to move from there to what NUP is proposing and what Obote had said. Obote had said, if you want UPC to stay, you leave NRM politics. Because now you can now see, Akena doesn't know where he is. The wife is a minister. She's contesting in the President Museveni's government, but she's contesting where in NRM. I mean in leader Apache as a UPC. That's already a contradiction enough. You have in leadership. You have her husband. He says he wants to contest for presidency.
Yeah.
Remember, the wife is a minister in Museveni's government. The husband is vowing to do what? To unseat the president, who is the boss of his wife. You can see Norbert Mao, he is in cabinet as a minister of justice and constitutional affairs. At the same time, the president general of the Democratic Party. That's what he calls himself. Kindly by force, he won the last election in the delegates conference, where ballot boxes were taken at night, and he was announced.
Thank you, Moses.
Now, what is my conclusion therefore?
Yes.
All those scenarios, what has created, part of the problem is they go to iPod, they get money from government, forcing themselves to believe that it is government money and not NRM what? Money. The money has conditions. To receive it, there must be internal people working for government. In the end, when the money comes, even before they count it, there are already wars about accountability. You get the idea? The parties begin disintegrating. They are safer, therefore, in my assessment. Political parties in opposition, you are safer not taking money from government. In fact, you are even much safer not belonging to iPod.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I just want to have one question.
Please speak to the microphone.
It's stated that if the NUP is a genuine opposition party, it should not take the NRM funds. All right?
Yes.
But that smacks of double standards from him. He has told us that he does not support the mainstream NRM. Okay, but he's still a card-holding member of the NRM. Even he has the card here. So why should it be hard for him to leave the NRM and criticize it from within? But it should be easier for NUP to reject the money of the NRM. Yet it also needs that funding. What is easy? What should be easy with NUP, but should be hard for him. So he should also know that the thing which is holding him onto the NRM is the same thing which is holding NUP onto the funding of the NRM.
I know Moses is has a good head. He will be able to remember that. Yes, he will remember it. And Bright, how sustainable is it that your party would look onto its membership to generate 20 billion that is needed for an election? Because the last I checked, they had collected about 160 something million Ugandan shillings.
No, 135. Cash and then 21 in the checks.
Yes.
But the total now,
is what?
as of today, is 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion. How much do you need for the election?
We need between 12 to 15 billion.
Now you have a
and where we need that money, where we need that money, NRM will use over 50 times.
I want us to focus on you. How sustainable is it? Leave alone the NRM.
But you see,
now you're mobilizing. Is it very possible that Mumusa, who gave 5 million, will give more 5 million in the next round? Because it's possible that it could be only a one-off. How is it possible that you as a party...
I gave in 5 million.
Yes.
By the way, I didn't pay it all. I even paid. Yes, this is a true story. This is a true story.
Yes.
I paid 1 million cash, and I am mobilizing for 4 million.
That
Now,
if you're not given that
this is
card,
a true story.
if you're not given the
No,
party
first
card,
listen. First listen. You see, now if we get a more competent person to hold the flag of Mbara State House, why should I die because they have not given me flag?
will you give them the 4 million?
Why not? There are people who are not going to contest, and they're going to use it immensely. There are religious leaders here in Mbarara who send in money. There are businessmen who send in money. There are people who are staying in diaspora who send in money, who are not interested in your cards. You cannot reduce this fundraising drive. You cannot reduce this fundraising drive to only people who want to contest in NUP. No, who are looking for flag, for the flag to become flag bearers.
Do you associate with the opinion of Moses that political parties should not seek funding from government, but
definitely you look at the history and why this law was brought in. It was not an initiative of the opposition political parties. The argument of forming IPOD, the argument of funding from government to political parties was not an argument from opposition political parties. It was an initiative of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Definitely he had a mission, like he has explained it well. The issue was that we were trying to get money, friends from diaspora, and some countries had decided to supporting these other political parties which were championing democratic processes in different countries, Ghana, Zambia, Uganda, and other countries. So after President Museveni realizing that we would get money which he would not be able to trace and know, that's how he came up with this law. I want you to imagine, because see, for him his argument is that for you to be able to access the money, you must be having a representation at parliamentary level. Remember, there are many political parties which are organized, which have very good ideologies. They are still growing. They need support so that they can be able to have a representation at parliamentary level, maybe in the next 2 or 3 elections. But now they cannot access money because President Museveni knows that he has the greatest numbers in parliament. Therefore, he is going to get the big share. He takes over 20 billion. NUP gets 3 billion. And he says, we are funding NUP. He never says, we get money from government. So his share, he takes for his party. He doesn't even talk about it. He always concentrates on what NUP gets, So the issue is, I agree with Ntwiga that political parties should, after all, it was never their initiative, and therefore they should forget about the money from government. Oh. But you see, remember, some of these political parties are now like working for Museveni, like he said it. Now DP is entirely managed by President Museveni. UPC, he has explained the relationship. FDC, you remember the story of 7 billion. Now, those are the political parties that have representation at parliamentary level. It means that all the money apart from NUP, all the money that government puts there, goes to NRM. Okay. Because now, if the money that goes to DP is controlled by Mao, who is Museveni's minister, the money that goes to UPC is controlled by Jima Kena, whose wife is working for Museveni. The money that goes to FDC goes to Nanda Mafabi. And Nana Mafabi, they are saying he got 7 billion, which 7 billion has led to the split of FDC into now 3. Okay. So my view is that really we don't need that money. I only want to encourage you. Said, is it sustainable? Yes, it is. Because what we are going to do as a national platform is to encourage each and every member. By the way, there are people who are not even members of national platform and they are contributing to this cause. Because the cause we are on is a cause for liberation. Oh. It is not only a cause for national unity platform. Because once we liberate Uganda, we shall have liberated every other person, irrespective of a political party.
Okay. So let's stop for a break. When we come back, more of the discussion. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
This June we are
Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
We are back from the break. It's 26 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. My question to Moses, before I come to you, Boenje, is that first of all, we know the 17 billion that you get from iPod or from government, from the taxpayer, is not enough to finance your activities. And we know you spend the most in the campaigns. You've said your footprint across the country is for every Ugandan to know. You're paying rent in these different offices. You have the Secretary General and his whole team. You have the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and his whole team. You have a whole legal department. The NRM party is a fully fledged organization that runs and pays resources to people that manage these activities. Where do you get the money if at all you're not mobilizing from the people?
You see, the NRM that every Ugandans cherish is a mass party and is a good party. For example, where do we get the money? We have collected billions and billions out of nomination, where every MP was paying 3 million across the whole country. Look at the numbers of people who picked nomination forms. You multiply by that money. We have money because we have people who do so, who are willingly contributing in terms of picking the forms. But also, most importantly, for us, we are very frugal. Frugality. We are leaders of integrity. Financial discipline. You have seen President Museveni has 3 shirts in his life, 3 like this: white, yellow, and another white. You have seen his shoes.
They are now 2.
They are now. Yes.
No, you see.
Listen to my point. Listen to my point.
You must allow and let people speak.
Yes, as a
You
lawyer.
must let people articulate.
No.
If at
but
all you're
you have
going to
an opportunity.
interfere in all that they are saying, how are they going to debate?
Yes. we will have
Please.
an
No,
opportunity
I'm going to give you an
rebut.
opportunity to
Yes,
rebut.
just have a pen and a paper, and you
Please.
will take note.
So,
The point I was making before he intercepted, was the issue of frugality. That for us, we know we know how to use money. We economize because we know resources are very few. But look at these friends of ours in the opposition. Look at how they put on. Look at how they are always on waters, on planes, on what and what, spending this very money from the milk from the Wananchi. This is very unfortunate, and this is a reality. I was telling him that President Museveni has 3 shoes in his life, 3 shoes, 1 black, 1 green, and you can.
I respect our listeners.
Yes, sir.
They cannot sit back to listen to you making such statements, trivializing a debate
no,
to
not
how a
really,
person
no.
wears and their clothes. All that
let
is
me tell you,
irrelevant.
let me tell
The
you.
question to
No.
you is, the
The
NRM party
question is-
needs more money than it's at its disposal. Where
Moderator,
does it
moderator,
get money to fund its activities?
moderator.
Not what Museveni wears and
First
clothes
listen,
and
first
things.
listen.
Respect the
Where is the
listeners.
first son of the first the son of Bob Wine? Where is he? Where is he?
Why?
He's spending a lot of money. Where is that money from?
Is that
Somebody
party
was saying-
money?
Somebody was saying from Noop. I saw a video. Somebody saying the money we contribute, it is being taken, used by the Chagulanyi family, and you are saying these are not issues. You are milking Ugandans and using your money for your personal interest instead of serving the Wananchi. You are saying we are traveling these issues. No, come on. These are very important issues. The issue of accountability is what I'm talking about. The issue of political accountability is what I'm talking about. You are saying it is something small, we should sweep it under the carpet and walk away. That would be very laughable.
Okay, let's go to the lifeline
the,
of the show.
The other point I want to make
yes.
is the issue of integrity of leaders. Are your leaders, this gentleman was saying, Robert Mao has brought, this one is here, part of the NRM. Why can't they reject? Why can't they reject? Why do you have leaders who are not of substance? Why can't they say we are not in, this is what we stand for? Having such leaders, quack leaders, as a political party will continue suffering. And it is therefore important that Ugandans out there, you know parties, you know a party which has good leaders that are dependable and for your own interests. Therefore, we should always make sure we serve them. The other issue I want to end with, and about this political financing, is the issue of Ugandans not financing political parties without an ideology. Like if I ask what's the ideology of our people here, he will not tell it to you. What they aspire for, he will not tell you.
No,
ask you. It is not there. It is not there. So it is very important Ugandans to avoid being lured, being trapped into a so-called platform for people who are there for their own good. And I want to thank you very much.
Okay, Bwenje.
Yes, the current speakers say that Museveni has only 2 shots. But
I don't see the connection.
No, it is. Because you see, as I started here by saying we should speak facts. The budget of this year and the last year, it has always shown that State House, the expenditure for State House is too much. And actually, much of that is on the clothing of the president. So it is very dishonest of you to kind of say Museveni has his own way, 2 shots and so forth. And maybe about the Bright and his wealth and his NUP, I don't even see the purpose of that funding up to now. Because from the 15th of January 2021 up to now, the NUP has done nothing in Western region, in the East, in the North. So we all know that you reap what you sow. So I'm wondering, why do they want all that money, yet they have done nothing in the 4 years? Because no. Where do they expect to get the votes? When they have done nothing, they have not done anything here for the last 4 years.
Kindly allow me to give
Okay.
you some
Yes.
Let's get to the feedback.
Let me tell you what we have been able to do. Mr. Bwende, you know, we didn't have offices in any districts of Western Uganda. And you can go to Makanising here and find a very serious office with staff, with everything. In Bushenyi we have an office, in Kabale we have an office, we have an office in the sub-region of Renzori, we have an office in Toro, we have an office in those are sub-regional offices. But you see, we are recruiting at each of each of those points I've told you. There are people who are recruiting and they are mobilizing for the party. That's 1. 2, we have been able to create structures for national unity platform from the district level to the sub-county level. You know,
I have one question.
and those you cannot mention any district, any single district where we don't have a structure. So we have been able to put up structures. We are recruiting new members. We are putting up. We have offices which are operating. So you cannot be on radio and say we have not used the money for the.
Okay,
for the
thank you.
But
Let's get to the feedback. No, wait.
All, you know, it is only during these 4 years he's talking about that we have been able to put up a headquarter offices. Our headquarter is located at Kafure. We have been able to establish an ideological school of leadership, political school of leadership of national platform at Kamwacha, and all that in this money. We have staff, we are paying, and we are trying to. We have been able to buy mobilization vehicles for all the mobilization secretaries for the whole country. So you cannot be on radio and say we have not been able to do anything.
Let's go to the lifeline of the show, the feedback. I have Apollo Tumsime who is saying, I have simple information for Bright. Through iPod, Mao and colleagues negotiated a release of 62 political prisoners. Although these prisoners were politically persecuted, we must understand how NRA operates, and we should always exploit all avenues to make sure that people get freedom. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910, get to talk to us and we get to hear from you. The big set.
Yes, hello, Mr.
Yes.
Vladimir, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Bea from Shea.
Yes, please.
I really appreciate for you.
Yes, please. We just lost that call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get to hear from you on what you think about political party financing on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I'll be able to read some of your messages on X. I see Tugume Dennis, who is saying, he who feeds you controls you. That's the reason why political parties are continually weakening, because they all hope to financially be supported. So you think NRM can support the opposition or just weakening it more? Government should not fund political organizations. Noajera Remy, you're saying, what does it cost NUP when they join iPod? Now, what if the community fails to raise the money? Concerned Brighton, you're saying, but it would not be a problem if NUP supporters are willing to give and support their party. Dr. Nwagaba Yona, you're saying, it is moral that in life we should never subject ourselves to the defendants or anyone. The government can refuse to give us their money, and all that I care is our members to be patriotic. Andrew Tumsime is churches are funded by people, let people fund their parties. And then Brave Omwitera, you're saying our opposition has failed to learn, and surely they are going to stay in opposing government. Let me pick a bit of more calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Good morning.
Turn down the volume of your radio.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Brooke. I've called from Nyamichwawala here in Mbarara.
Yes, please.
I would want to thank Mr. Moses Nwagaba for his discussion, and I think Uganda should first, based on laying the strategies on how it should receive the money. Like, this money should not, we should first it should not have the strings attached to it. But rather than that, this money which goes in opposition, it is just its main intention is to lay them down. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. On Cruise TV, I see Bashaba Mukama Crescent, you're watching all the way in Bara. Alexander, you're in Chijungu watching. Andrew Tumsime, you're saying some parties can't manage without iPod money. And then West Wycliffe, you're saying you're in Insiche, in Nyamitanga. Then David Wamatsko, you're saying you're in Kavera Mitoma. Uganda is heading to heal. I can see the messages. Keep the messages coming. I'll be able to read more of the messages. Let me come back to the panel as we conclude on this topic.
Yes. And my view is that a political party is a private entity.
No, that is not
okay.
Correct. That
No.
Is
you see, being a private entity is still like
how are you going to convince
BSU.
us otherwise?
BSU is a private entity, but it is a public institution. Okay,
That
because
is
it
true.
offers a public service.
That is true.
That is why the decisions of BSU are subject to judicial review, as long as its decisions are governmental in nature. So my opinion is that every political party, just like a church, it must be a private entity. And there I mean that the government should not have a hand in the sponsorship or the funding or the money or the management and administration of the same. Because as long as government has an input there, it ceases to be a people-powered institution. Okay. So, there's no need at all for government to fund any political party. If the party cannot convince its members to give it money, it should wind up.
Okay, thank you. I think we've concluded on this particular topic. The position of Moses and the rest of you is very clear. It's on record. And we are going to discuss the incidents that happened in Semba with the Sinjiro and Mubende, deaths and destruction of property ahead of the NRM primaries. Moses, when you hear what is happening in Sinjiro, in Mubende, the electorates are torching cars, the army is shooting people dead. Are we yet to see what is going to happen ahead of the general elections?
And that dispels my brother's erroneous statement that other political parties don't have ideology. They do have. Because when you read the ideology of NRM, the listeners were not seeing my face.
Yes.
So, these political organizations you see have ideologies. Only that in their infancies, either out of sheer incompetence or because of extraneous factors, including lack of funding and then interruptions by the ruling party. Sometimes they fail to achieve. Yes, by the ruling party. The ruling party. They fail to achieve their objectives. Didn't I see NRM putting on raid recently in Kampala? The intention is not genuine, is not good. It was not done in good faith. So now, if you say, because Jesus said, we shall know them by their what? By their fruits. Now, look at NRM primaries now. How many people have died? NRM primaries. But one of the tenets, one of the principles of NRM, when you read the ideology of NRM, is democracy. Now, have you had Noop killing Noop? So who practices democracy better? Is it NRM or Noop? None of them. Noop has not killed Noop. I've not had a Noop member kill a Noop member or an NRM member. I've not had a Noop member kill an NRM. But in NRM, members of the National Resistance Movement kill members of National Resistance Movement. And these are people who have been properly coached. Some of them brought NRM. Others, they joined NRM. They have been in parliament for over 20 years. Unless they are really slow runners, they should have understood the ideology of NRM, which Omjuguju was talking about, my brother. So that's why I'm saying it is not correct that these political parties don't have ideologies. They do have. They are just malcontents among them. Just like we have malcontents in NRM. Now that brings me to your question. Malcontents are big-headed people without,
This is causing death in Semba.
Yeah. So what is causing this chaos? Let me call it generally chaos in NRM primaries. First of all, I want you to understand that right from 2006, right from 2006, the conduct of the National Resistance Movement shifted from persuasion to coercion from 2006, from the third term era. 2, that is when the politics of Uganda, money was introduced into the politics of Uganda, commercialization, during the third term era, the third term. Now, since then, there has been a group of people who have observed the supreme leader of the National Resistance Movement and seen that he is increasingly becoming vulnerable. What he needs most, he needs many things, but what he needs most is royalty. They present themselves as so royal. In fact, more loyal than those who brought the national resistance movement. In order to remain high in the echelons of power. Now, once they achieve that objective, appearing loyal to Mzee, they cause mayhem elsewhere without question. So, who is the bait? The voter, okay? The masses that they say they bring to Mzee, that's the bait. What do they gain? Political support and approval from His Excellency the President. What do they do when they come to the people? When there is competition, they cause mayhem, they cause death, they know no one is going to question them. Why? Because they are very loyal to Mzee, and Mzee knows them very well. So now, this violence you see in the national resistance, and anyway, there is no group member of this group of PROU here. I would have said this, but I want to state that the same disease, okay, infectiously, it has gone to PROU. People who present themselves as so loyal to the national resistance movement, while at the same time committing crimes. You do your research very well. Which do your research very well.
Assistant Dean of the other district.
Yes. Most of the people, when there is no election, if it's not an election season, most of the people you meet in towns, not in villages, and also in towns, including these urban and peri-urban areas, who put on yellow T-shirts and shirts of the national resistance movement almost on a daily basis, generally are criminals if it is not election period.
Okay.
Now, what does that mean?
There
is now a tendency to cover up criminality by loyalty to the national resistance movement. So the people who are committing crimes in these elections are generally instigating crime, inciting violence, and committing it almost, and I think some of them directly.
Okay.
Because they know that they have got approval as very loyal members of the national resistance movement. They have protection to the extent that no one will question what they are doing. Either it is
your
by
statements are seeming to mean that the president sanctions the violence in the
not
primaries.
directly, but don't you think doesn't he? Have you had any statement from him as chairman of NRM?
Is he abating some of these?
Yes, in these elections of NRM, the primaries, have you had a statement from the national chairman of the national resistance movement?
Okay.
Have you had any statement from him?
Thank you.
Because he knows if he asks about this violence, what is happening, there is more violence coming. The guys will also say, but he is waiting for those who will perform it best, so that he uses them in the next phase.
Okay, thank you.
In the Byabakama election.
Okay, yes.
See, if you want to know who is the cause of the violence in the NRM, don't look so far. Here, this RDC is here. Because if you had him very well, he holds out as a member of the NRM. Okay? You see, he holds out as a member of the NRM.
Yes.
So it is in these in these elections that they come up. And when, as the head of the security in the district, you already have a side, then that is a recipe for violence. So, and I want to encourage him, as I have always done. He, as a public servant, is not a member of any party. And being a representative of the president in a district does not mean he is a representative of the chairperson of the NRM there.
Okay, thank you.
So he should desist from calling himself, or even assuming, or even thinking that he's a member of the NRM. If he's there to ensure the security of the election,
okay,
thank you. He should be there as a public servant, but not as a member who has an interest in the outcome of the election.
But if you're a lawyer,
yes,
he acts as an agent for a principal.
No.
Definitely.
Yes, his principal.
His principal literally acts for themselves.
No. His principal is the president of the Republic of Uganda, not the chairperson of the NRM.
Right. Violence in the NRM primaries.
It is sanctioned by General Yoweri Museveni by extending his rule to be looked at as permanent, because we are faced by a permanent presidency. When we have that challenge at the country, we create unnecessary positions for people to eat from. These constituencies they are creating every day. The salaries for members of parliament they are increasing every day. Themselves now, a person looks at a parliamentary level, a parliamentary seat as almost a tender, as a contract. For him, he's going to use it to eat money from government. You are joking with 40 million per month. You are joking with 300 million for free vehicle. You are joking with sitting on a committee to investigate thieves in Uganda. All the people that have been heading these committees of investigating corruption, they are still rich. They went to investigate thieves. Now they went there and stole money, and they're even more richer than those that they had gone to investigate. So Parliament is a den of robbers. Now
you're planning to join.
Yes, and I am saying I will not, even if I am voted into leadership, and Kyagulanyi does not become a president, I will not swear in. This is, I am on Cruise TV, radio and TV
yes.
saying it. If you, because now I am going to, can I tell us that I'm going to Parliament to change anything under government of NRM? If I go to Parliament with President Museveni being a president, what will I be able to change? You have seen competent voices in Parliament speaking out, speaking for the people. What have they been able to change? Instead, they meet canes, kicks, and box, and they are boxed by people who are put in Parliament by Omushukushuku and their people. They start beating these opposition MPs. Some of them have become persons with disability in Parliament, and nothing has happened. So the issue is, once the president of Uganda decides to step aside, says, I've served my country.
But it's not Museveni in
It is him. Why is it? It is him because, see, where all this violence is taking place, it is taking place in NRM primaries. The chairperson of that party is John Yoweri Museveni. You know, recently, the Court of Appeal said the president of Uganda, the chairperson of NRM, who is President Museveni, will have powers to appoint the following. 1, the Secretary General, the Deputy Secretary General, the Treasurer of the party, the Deputy Treasurer of the party. So NRM is President Museveni and Museveni is NRM.
Okay.
So if there is any problem, it is a question of leadership. The question we should answer in NRM is a question of leadership, and that one we put it on President Museveni, who has commercialized the politics, and people look at political positions as a way of gaining wealth, as a business enterprise.
Mshukushuku conclude.
Thank you very much. To begin with, on the issue of election violence, I want to disagree with my senior,
our time is fast spent.
I want to disagree with my senior Moses Nwagaba Ntwiga and Muhumuza Bright, who seem to aver that President Museveni is the cause
orchestrator of violence.
It is totally not true, and they should really withdraw those statements. One,
allow me to withdraw mine.
No.
Listen,
one, in Isingiro, we lost a young boy and died in Kamubizi. Was buried out of election violence. What causes this? The root cause of all this is commercialization of politics of Uganda.
And Ntwiga here gave you a preamble of where this commercialization started from.
And by the way, they are saying they are only dying in NRM primaries. Are there no primaries? Tell me that they are there. If they are there, more death would be recorded. More death would be recorded. But because it is a tyranny, there is too much dictatorship there. They cannot go for primaries. They just appoint. Can you imagine? You have heard people say, but if you are a woman, you must put in your legs. You must give sex to get a flag. That's what those allegations are there, and your party president has instituted a committee to investigate. So, listen, I gave you time. I gave you time. I gave you time to submit. If this is so, if this is so, if this is so, when the security came to Nupu headquarters, what did they find in your offices? Huge condoms.
Let's meet next Saturday on the big seat. We have news at the top of the hour.
Before
God
that,
bless
I want to make one for a final conclusion.
Yes.
Is that the other problem is that people should no longer read with pockets, but read with the purpose.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.